They call him the monster for a reason. His power is real, his timing is razor-sharp, and his hands strike with a speed that shocks even elite opponents. When Naoya Inoue steps forward, fighters feel a pressure that goes beyond his technique or his strength. It is the way he forces opponents into mistakes, the way he hunts, and the way he ends fights the moment he senses weakness. Even before his rise to global stardom, the boxing world understood that Inoue was something rare, an athlete whose power, accuracy, and composure could end a match in seconds. His knockouts are not wild explosions but clean, controlled finishes that show a level of precision that few boxers ever achieve. Many opponents enter the ring believing they have the plan, the toughness, or the strategy to solve him, only to find themselves overwhelmed in moments. One of the performances that demonstrated his dominance came on October 31, 2020, in Las Vegas, when Inoue faced the skilled Australian contender Jason Maloney. Inoue entered the fight as the unified WBA and IBF bantamweight champion, still riding momentum from his brutal and unforgettable war against Nonito Donaire in the World Boxing Super Series final. Maloney, tough and determined, arrived with confidence after strong wins and believed pressure would be the key to victory. He promised to march forward, impose his will, and turn the fight into a battle Inoue could not ignore. But from the opening round, it became clear that Maloney was dealing with something far more dangerous than anything he had prepared for. Inoue controlled distance with a sharp jab, punishing every attempt Maloney made to attack. Small mistakes, slight missteps, mistimed punches, or openings in Maloney's guard were immediately answered with punishing counters. Maloney tried to work inside, tried to force exchanges, but Inoue's timing beat him to every spot. By the middle rounds, Maloney was being outsped, outpowered, and outmaneuvered. The Australian fought with courage, throwing combinations whenever he found the slightest chance, but Inoue's precision was simply too much. Then came the 7th round, when a perfectly placed right hand crashed onto Maloney's chin. He fell hard, unable to beat the count. It was a finish that sent shockwaves through the sport. Fans around the world saw a champion who wasn't just strong. He was smart, calculating, and merciless when he saw an opening. Inoue's next memorable display came when he faced Michael Dasmariñas. Entering the fight, Dasmariñas was a mandatory challenger with a reputation for fast hands and dangerous body shots. Some believed his southpaw stance and mobility might trouble Inoue. For about a round, Dasmariñas used movement to stay safe, circling and trying to draw mistakes, but Inoue's footwork closed the distance before long. Then the monster went to work. He attacked the body with a level of force that shook Dasmariñas immediately. A single left hook to the liver sent the challenger to the canvas in visible agony. He rose, but his body was betraying him. Inoue attacked the same area with fearless accuracy, dropping him again, and then once more, finishing the fight in the early rounds. It was a showcase of one of Inoue's greatest strengths, his ability to deliver perfect, destructive body shots that leave opponents unable to recover. Then came perhaps the most anticipated rematch of Inoue's career, the second fight against Nonito Donaire on June 7, 2022. Their first fight was a legendary battle, one of the greatest bantamweight fights ever. Donaire's experience, power, and resilience pushed Inoue to the brink, and many wondered if the Filipino veteran could find a way to turn the rematch around. Both men entered with world titles, pride, and legacy on the line. But this time, Inoue was sharp from the first bell. He countered Donaire with speed the veteran struggled to match and hurt him in the opening round. In the second round, Inoue unleashed a brutal series of combinations, landing a clean right hand and then a devastating left hook that sent Donaire down and out. The fight ended in just 2 rounds, an incredible statement against a future Hall of Famer known for his toughness. It showed how much Inoue had improved since their first meeting and how dangerous he had become when fully healthy and focused. In December 2022, Inoue stepped into the ring with Paul Butler, the final champion he needed to defeat to become the undisputed king of the bantamweight division. Butler was experienced, disciplined, and had a defensive style that he hoped would frustrate Inoue. For several rounds, He avoided exchanges and tried to use movement to minimize damage. Inoue, however, cut off the ring with patience and accuracy. He shifted gears, changed rhythms, and continued to land heavy shots to the head and body. Butler fought cautiously, rarely engaging, but he could not escape forever. In the 11th round, Inoue unleashed a violent combination, breaking through Butler's guard and forcing a stoppage. With that victory, he became the undisputed bantamweight champion, a status that confirmed what many already believed: he had completely conquered the division. Not satisfied with staying at bantamweight, Inoue moved up to super bantamweight in 2023 to take on one of the most difficult style matchups available: Stephen Fulton, the WBC and WBO champion. Many experts considered this Inoue's toughest test. Fulton was bigger, an excellent defensive fighter, and a master counterpuncher. There were questions about whether Inoue's power would carry up, whether his speed would still be dominant, and whether Fulton could outbox him over 12 rounds. But from the opening bell, Inoue showed he was ready. His jab snapped Fulton's head back repeatedly, and he controlled the pace with crisp timing. Every time Fulton tried to escape, Inoue stepped forward with combinations that pushed him to the ropes. Inoue's pressure built with every minute. His jab was landing harder than some fighters' right hands. By the middle rounds, Fulton was being overwhelmed. Then Inoue landed a right hand that rocked the champion, followed by a flurry that sent him down. Fulton tried to rise, but Inoue closed in with another barrage that forced the referee to stop the fight. In just one night at super bantamweight, Inoue destroyed a unified champion who had never been dominated before. It instantly placed him among the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world, proving that his power and skill translated flawlessly to a higher division. Throughout these performances, a pattern emerges. It isn't only Inoue's power that makes him such a nightmare for opponents. It is his understanding of timing, his footwork, and the way he reads his opponents like an open book. His jabs are not thrown just to score points. They set traps that force fighters into vulnerable positions. His counters arrive before the opponent even finishes their punch. His body shots are placed so precisely that even slight contact can cripple an opponent. More than anything, his composure under pressure allows him to recognize openings without rushing or wasting energy. Every fighter enters believing they can solve him. Maloney believed pressure would work. Dasmariñas believed movement and counters would open chances. Donaire believed experience and power could change the outcome. Butler believed a high guard and patience would keep him safe. Fulton believed size, defense, and intelligence would carry the night. Each one discovered that Inoue could adapt faster, attack harder, and break down their strategy with frightening efficiency. What makes Inoue even more remarkable is that he continues to improve with each fight. Even after dominating multiple divisions, his speed remains extraordinary, his power surprising for his size, and his discipline unwavering. The monster lives up to his name not through brutality alone, but through the total command he shows in every moment of a fight. He is efficient, relentless, and precise in ways that few champions have ever been. As his career continues, fans and analysts wonder how high he can climb and how many divisions he can conquer. But no matter what comes next, the performances that built his reputation will remain unforgettable. His knockouts of Maloney, Dasmariñas, Donaire, Butler, and Fulton stand as examples of a fighter who blends timing, accuracy, and power in a way rarely seen in the sport. Every time he steps into the ring, he brings a sense of danger that opponents feel from the moment he closes the distance. And every time he lands clean, the world is reminded why so many call him the monster. Inoue backs off, calm and in control as he fires another four-punch combination, mixing in a right hand to the body before snapping the jab upstairs. He changes levels smoothly, moving from head to body with a speed that makes closing distance effortless. Fulton struggles to adjust, circling away and using his legs but rarely finding moments to plant and counter. Inoue stays disciplined, doubling the jab and flashing quick right hands while Fulton tries to weather the storm. The body jab continues landing, a shot available from the opening bell, while Fulton attempts to answer with a 1-2 that's mostly blocked. Inoue's vertical jab pierces the guard again, reinforcing why it has become one of his signature weapons. Through the early rounds, the punch stats reveal a widening gap. Inoue increases his output from 11 landed punches in the first to 15 in the second and 18 in the third, throwing nearly double the punches by the end of round 3. Fulton has brief success on the inside, digging to the body and trying to impose physicality, but Inoue's jab and right hand repeatedly halt his momentum. Fulton attempts to find a rhythm by stepping around and changing angles, and he occasionally succeeds when he shifts to his right before countering. But Inoue immediately answers, backing him up with heavy right hands. Many shots glance off Fulton's guard, yet the impact is undeniable. Though Fulton shows heart by firing back, he cannot win exchanges consistently. By round 6, the commentary notes that Fulton's footwork has been neutralized because Inoue keeps cutting off the ring and punching where Fulton intends to move. Even when Fulton surges forward, his punches fall short, and he ends up tied up in clinches when he tries to smother the offense. The quiet Tokyo crowd allows the corner's instructions to echo through the arena, underscoring the tension as Inoue continues to find openings with crisp combinations. Inoue's power remains dangerous even in short bursts, producing torque from all angles regardless of positioning. A 4-punch combination late in the 6th highlights this, followed by a right hand that briefly stuns Fulton. Though Fulton recovers quickly, he remains vulnerable. Inoue keeps his head positioned slightly to one side, tempting Fulton's right hand, but his reactions prevent meaningful damage. Exchanges on the inside usually favor Inoue, who lands the sharper, faster shots. A check hook catches Fulton as he steps in, followed by a piercing jab and another right hand that wraps around the guard. Fulton attempts counters of his own and occasionally lands, but they lack the force to slow Inoue. As the rounds progress, Inoue cuts off the ring more efficiently, walking Fulton down and hunting for the knockout. His combinations continue flowing: jab, jab, right hand, body jab, hook, straight. In round 8, the inevitable arrives. A perfectly placed right hand detonates on Fulton, sending him crashing to the canvas. He struggles to stand, grabbing the ropes as Inoue closes in. With ruthless precision, Inoue unleashes a final barrage, overwhelming Fulton in the corner until the referee steps in. In just 8 rounds, he claims 2 more belts and solidifies his position among the sports elite. Fulton entered confident and outspoken, but Inoue's power, accuracy, and composure proved insurmountable. The victory marked another step toward untouchable status. But Inoue's ascent didn't stop there. In December 2023, he faced Marlon Tapales in Tokyo for the undisputed super bantamweight crown. Tapales held the WBA and IBF titles and vowed to become Inoue's nightmare. Though the underdog, he brought hunger and preparation to the historic showdown. The opening rounds saw Tapales using a high guard and returning fire to the body. Inoue adjusted quickly, angling his jab, stepping back to create openings, and exploiting the blind spots of Tapales's guard. Moments of success for Tapales came when he dipped and countered, but Inoue's combinations were sharper, punishing the stationary moments when Tapales failed to step off the centerline. In round 4, Inoue broke through with a looping left hand around the guard, dropping Tapales. Though Tapales rose and continued trading bravely, his high guard left gaps to the body and temples, where Inoue landed repeatedly. Tapales had flurries of his own, targeting the ribs and firing counters as Inoue stepped in, but each exchange revealed the difference in accuracy and speed. Inoue's bodywork began to sap Tapales's movement, and soon his defense slowed just enough for Inoue to land more uppercuts and right hands through the middle. Tapales still pushed forward, willing to engage in exchanges, but Inoue's placement won every trade. The fight grew more dramatic as both men landed cleanly, yet Inoue's punches carried unmistakable force. By the 6th round, the damage had accumulated. Tapales pushed Inoue back momentarily with crisp left hands, but Inoue responded with bigger, cleaner shots. A huge right hand late in the round snapped Tapales's head back, signaling the beginning of the end. In round 7, Inoue controlled distance with a jab and doubled the right hand, exploiting Tapalez's tendency to lean left. Each clean shot turned the tide further. Eventually, a crushing right hand sent Tapalez to the canvas for the final time. He couldn't beat the count. Inoue claimed undisputed status in a second division, placing him among the greatest ever. The momentum carried into May 2024 when Inoue defended his throne against Luis Pantera Neri. Many expected Neri to buckle under pressure, but the Mexican challenger arrived determined to shock the world. Early on, Neri surprised everyone by dropping Inoue for the first time in his career with a sharp left inside. The Tokyo crowd gasped as their hero hit the canvas. Neri pressed his advantage, unleashing pressure and attempting to capitalize on openings created by Inoue's dropped lead hand. But the monster responded calmly, adapting to Neri's aggression. In round 2, as Neri lunged forward, Inoue fired a perfectly timed left hook, flooring Neri and evening the score. From there, Inoue's rhythm sharpened. He began anticipating Neri's entries, stepping back half a beat and countering with crisp right hands. Neri kept pressing, relying on toughness and bursts of offense, but his defensive lapses grew more costly. Inoue landed body shots reminiscent of the punch that caused Neri's only previous loss. The speed, precision, and seamless punch placement overwhelmed Neri as the rounds progressed. A second knockdown came from another expertly timed left hook, delivered inside Neri's loosened guard. Each exchange grew more one-sided as Inoue targeted both body and head with pinpoint accuracy. By round 6, Neri had absorbed tremendous punishment. Inoue's combinations erupted with frightening speed, snapping Neri's head back repeatedly. Finally, a brutal right hand followed by a short uppercut ended the contest. Neri crumpled, unable to continue. Inoue once again demonstrated the rare blend of timing, power, and composure that defines his legacy. As his dominance grows, each new challenger approaches with determination and trepidation, aware that facing him demands flawless execution. Yet even the most disciplined plans unravel under his pressure. Observers marvel at how he blends patience with aggression, never reckless yet always ready to strike. As time passes, anticipation builds around how far he can push the limits of his division. His opponents admit that preparation can never replicate the timing and sharpness he brings on the night. With every performance, he reinforces the idea that greatness comes from discipline, adaptability, and mastery rather than spectacle. Each new chapter of his journey will undoubtedly draw even greater attention, inspiring both seasoned followers and newcomers to appreciate the relentless excellence he continues demonstrating today.